128 straight days of Clippers talk. Wait a second. Isn't there a movie, 128 Days Later? Is that the zombie one with Cillian Murphy? The Danny Moyle flick? I think so.
Hey, what's up, buddy? How are you tonight? Not too bad, I hope.
Hey, Chiefs fans. Hope you're doing all right.
Not too bad, I hope.
Now I got to get to the bottom of this. We're 128 days in on Clippers talk. Yeah. That is the movie I was thinking of. There was a sequel too. Or no, that's just 28 days later. 128 hours. Now I'm thinking, no, it's the James Franco movie. 127 hours. Fuck. I can't get this right.
Please help me.
Appreciate you guys. I'm Adam Osland. Welcome into Clippers Talk. Then 28 weeks later. Sorry, you guys are correcting me. I'm way off. Yeah. Samsonite. Well, I was wrong. Coming up on today's show, we do have, as stated in the title, Ricky G. You may know him on Twitter at J. Richard Goodman. I like to call him Coach. He has a pretty active basketball NBA line. It is heavy with NBA debate and conversations, and I've gotten into it with him over the years, but we're always better friends for it. We always break bread afterwards. It's all good. I love Ricky G. He has a different perspective than me sometimes. Got to pick his brain. Got to find out about the trade deadline, what that has done to the Western Conference, specifically the Clippers, with Bogie, with Ben Simmons, who has not yet been made official, guys. So we don't know when he'll make his debut, as people are asking. Yeah. He's Dime Dropper's coaching protege. Of course, we've had Dime on here a ton. Let's see. Coach Ricky is here. Hide the Warriors fans. Yeah, they're not going to be happy about this. They are not going to be happy about this. Uncomfortable truths are coming this way. You want me to cook Ricky G? Some people are freaking out about this collab. Clippers talk with features like Ricky G. Before we get to him, we should be here in about 10 minutes. I did have a couple of things I wanted to address. First of all, it sounds like it's pretty official at this point. Anthony Davis, unfortunately, got hurt. Makes things even worse with this trade. He gets hurt his first game as a member of the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? Mavericks fans, how you doing?
Not too bad, I hope.
I think they're doing pretty bad right now. I think they're down pretty bad. I understand the protests. Don't send the death threats, though, guys. Come on. Be better than that. To Nico Harrison, don't do that. The protests, fine. The caskets outside of the arena, fine. But don't take it any further than that. Nico Harrison has to have, like, Secret Service surrounding him at all times now. Yeah, it's a really bad trade. But especially bad because Anthony Davis came and played now, and he'll be out for the All-Star game. So Adam Silver makes the decision on who eventually are the All-Star replacements when there's injuries. And Trae Young will be replacing Giannis Antetokounmpo in the Eastern Conference. And apparently what he does is when he selects all-star replacements, Adam Silver just goes with the next most votes among the coaches. Trae Young was that guy. That's how he got in. What does that mean for Norman Powell? Does anybody have, or is this all internal with the NBA, how the coaches voted? Because if Anthony Davis is out, and Alperen Sengun might be out, then is Norman Powell going to get in? He's deserving. And I'll tell you what right now, if you're telling me it's Sabonis, no. I get it if positionally They need to add another big with AD out. But there are 3 guys that have not been better this season and are behind the Clippers in the standings that have a case, but I don't think they have a better one than Norman Powell. First of all, Kyrie Irving with the Dallas Mavericks. They're behind the Clippers in the standings. I don't think he's been better than Norman Powell. Secondly, Domantas Sabonis. They're further behind the Clippers in the standings by 3 games. He's not been better. He's not been more impactful for his team. They're always bad defensively. Sacramento has a fatal flaw, and part of this is on Sabonis. And then Devin Booker. They're also 3 games back of the Clippers. He hasn't had a better season than Norman Powell. He hasn't been as efficient as Norman Powell. None of those guys should make it over him. And if it's Ja, well, he's been out a lot this season with injuries. Ja Morant. I know they're the 2 seed, but I'm saying all 4 of those guys have not had a better season, have meant more to their teams than Norman Powell has with your Los Angeles Clippers. I'm going to make that point right now. Now, let's bring him in. An OG, a Golden State Warriors fan, the coach that we look to for guidance on Twitter. That would be Ricky G, the OG. He's not just about inconvenient truths. He's talking uncomfortable truths with you and talking about them dudes. Coach, can you hear me? How are we doing?
What's going on, Adam? You trying to get a Clipper on the All-Star team?
I'm trying to see if I can hear you, Coach. I had to reset something here. Do you got me?
I hear you.
All right, I got you now. Thanks for doing this, Coach. I know we've talked before. We haven't done it on video here on the new YouTube side, but it's a good time to have you on. I know we were talking about doing something post-trade deadline to kind of give an update on what's going on in the Western Conference specifically. So I appreciate you coming in today.
Appreciate you. Trying to get a Clipper on the All-Star team? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm trying to get 2 now. James Harden's in. I'm trying to get Norman Powell in. If Anthony Davis is out, if Alperen Şengün is out, you tell me, has Ja Morant been better? He's been out too many games.
No, you have a fair argument. The only one I'd push back on might be Sabonis.
They're 3 games behind the Clippers. They're 3 games behind them. How many of those triple doubles have been impactful for Sabonis? Like, I know he puts up numbers.
No, you're not going to get an argument from me.
I think that guy has fatal flaws as a basketball player. I think the Kings are eventually going to circle around and start pointing fingers at him. Like, maybe this is the problem why we can't have a top 10 defense ever. I think it's Sabonis. He's not a great rim protector.
Well, he's no rim protector, no.
So, like, how do you build a good defense if you don't have a good rim protector or if you don't have a ton of wings and guys on the perimeter at point of attack? You can't do it.
Well, their problem is a little deeper than that. They don't have a point of attack defender, and they don't have a rim protector. See, the wings are important, and I agree with that, but they come in secondary. We have to guard the West point guards at point of attack first. That's the problem my team's going to run into.
Let's start there before we get to the Clippers, because you guys made the big move to bring in Jimmy Butler. How did you feel about it? Because I know a little bit of what's been going on Twitter, but could you flesh out your argument talking about how, while you bring in a guy that can help you, you're also losing a guy that can help you? Is it a lateral move? Are they still a piece away at least from being a contender?
Here's my thing. I understand getting Butler. I had some concerns about fit, and we don't know the answer to that yet. But he does a lot of things that the Warriors need. He gets to the rim. He can post up. He can play out of post up. He gets to the free throw line, and he guards 3 through 4. Maybe 2, 3, and 4. I don't think he guards the point guard, not the West point guard. He gives you that. Here was my beat. I wanted Butler if I don't have to give up Wiggins. Because all we did was switch our issues from, we now have a number 1 or number 2 scorer, but we don't have a wing defender that can guard point of attack. So we're right back to where we was when the grown men show up. We're going to have a problem.
The dudes, the grown men. Yeah, I think it could work out with Jimmy Butler, but your ceiling's still not high enough to be contending.
No. I mean, they were down 21 to the Bulls, and Curry went nuclear. I mean, the problem is the Warriors' third guy. Who's it going to be? It's not going to be Green. Is it Kuminga?
It needs to be, I think.
No, it has to be. Not need to be. It has to be. It has to be.
Is Steve Kerr now satisfied with his play? What have his minutes been like this season?
You know, it's interesting you say that. I don't think Kerr and Curry were on board with getting Butler. I think they're happy they got him now. And I think they're going to try to make it work. But I think they were intention on having Durant with Wiggins and stuff. That was the play.
How do you feel about KD not wanting to be a Warrior again? Because from my perspective, I don't think they ever deserved to get him. I don't think they ever really appreciated it.
They got cooked. I tweeted and got cooked. Why would he come back to that bullshit? Our fans, you know, people can tell you what they want to tell you. Our loud voices treated him very, very poorly. And then they're on their knees begging for him to come back. Please. I'm glad KD said no.
Yeah. I think it was pretty apparent that Steph Curry is their favorite son, no matter even if they have a better guy on the team that won 2 finals MVPs. That if that guy can't get love, then nobody can next to Steph Curry.
Well, hold on a second now. Let's assume Butler goes off and Butler becomes the first option and Butler becomes the dude. They're not going to like that.
No, I agree with you. I think it won't be as much distance from him to Steph Curry where they'll be okay with it, where it can be like 1-1A type of stuff instead of Kevin Durant clearly being the guy for them to put them over the top against the Cavaliers. I think it'll be different, but Steph Curry hasn't looked right, obviously. He's not the same guy. You talk about it all the time, but
no.
Get by his defender. Can he get in 2 feet in the paint?
Well, that's first of all, that's not the issue right now with me with Curry. Curry's going to have nights like the other night with Chicago, and then he's going to have nights against a good defensive team. He's going to struggle. Problem with Curry is he can't guard anymore, and he is going to get attacked, and he can't hide him. Who are they going to hide him with? Potts? Yeah. No. Moody? No. Buddy? No. They got nobody to hide him with. So actually, the Warriors are going to have 2 guards that can't guard. Well, who's the second guard on that team that can guard? GP2 can't no more. He's okay, but he's not going to guard a dude. I mean, how are we going to guard Luka and LeBron out top?
Let's talk about it because Luka's set to debut tonight with the Lakers against Utah. I know you have some strong feelings about how they can play offensively now with him next to LeBron James, and the most bizarre, baffling, perplexing, downright offensive trade if you're anybody but the Lakers that we saw go down.
Let me ask you a question because my phone's off. I've been with my mother all day. Is AD out for the year?
No. They're saying
I got a text he might be out for the year about 10 minutes ago before I came on your show.
From somebody with Dallas on the inside?
No. Nobody, not a source. I just got a text that AD was out for the year because I texted that this morning that he might be, and I was just wondering if you heard anything. If he has to have surgery, he's out for the year.
If it's the abdominal issue and he has to have surgery,
he's out for the year. Let me tell you 3 injuries basketball players can't heal without rest. Hamstring, groin, and abdominal. They never go away.
I remember my guy Bobby Jackson up in Sacramento, I think in 2003, had an abdominal strain, and he was out for months. And what I'm seeing, Shams said last night, multiple weeks, his absence could stretch to a month. So
that's minimum. But if he has to have surgery, it's a wrap.
That will lead to, I don't know what Dallas fans are going to do. A walkout? Like, how upset are they going to be? Like, how much worse can it get? It's already DEFCON 1.
You know, that trade, how did a guy walks into the owner's office. The owner laughs at him, and he sold him and walked out with a trade. What? I want to know what was done in that room. What was said?
I think a lot of this is as simple as hubris and hatred for Luka Doncic. Nico Harrison has to think he's the smartest guy in the room at all times, and he was fed up with Luka Doncic, and it was impulsive.
Adam, I get on Luka with his whining. I get on Luka on his shot selection. I get on Luka with his being out of shape. I get on him when he doesn't compete on defense. But that motherfucker can't. Oh, excuse me. That guy can smoke cigarettes, drink vodka, and run with 3 women every night if he's going to drag a team to the final. I mean, I'm not going to mess with him. Well, I'm going to cut Luka because he's got a little drinking problem.
Some have said he's the Babe Ruth of the NBA.
You remember Jeffrey Dahmer?
Unfortunately, I've watched a few docs in my time.
If he ran a 4.2 40, the NFL would tell you he just had an eating disorder.
Coach, it's too early for this shit.
I'm telling you. That's what the NFL would tell you. He just has an eating disorder. We got this. We'll work it out.
Do you think the NBA is more concerned with perception and teams are a little bit more? Because the NFL, a lot of those guys are faceless. You know, it's different. There's less guys on the court in the NBA, and they're looking for a new face of the league. And by the way, I've been saying for years, Luka Doncic is the new face of the league. When LeBron James is out, little did I know they'd be on the same team to make that transition.
Well, who is the face if it isn't Luka? It's not Tatum.
How much time Jokic have left? Giannis.
Jokic don't want it. You can't give Jokic the face that he won't. He don't want it.
I think it's Ant. I think it's Anthony Edwards.
Okay. I think it is Ant. That's a good call.
If it has to be. But to your point about Luka, I'm dealing with all those issues because what matters most is how he performs on the basketball court. And if he can do what he just did in the playoffs last season while being out of shape and hurt and still drag you to the finals, there's not an issue. That stuff doesn't matter compared to what he can actually do on the court.
I'd have him a pocket rocket, shot of vodka, and a pack of cigarettes in the locker room at halftime if that's what he needed. I mean, what are we talking about here? We're talking about dudes. I mean, look what he did last year.
Not just dudes, a 25-year-old. A 25-year-old.
Now he's in LA going to win probably multiple chips and make Pelinka look like the greatest guy in the world.
Do you think he has any fatal flaws, though? Because that James Harden style of basketball that some think you can't win at the highest level with, and they did get taken out in 5 by Boston.
Okay, there is some truth to this, but here's the difference. When Harden was doing that, Harden would live at the cup, but once he got to the cup, he went to the basket. Once Luka gets to the cup, he puts in a dead man's land kind of on defense. Is he going to make the layup or kick to an open 3-corner? See, Harden didn't really do that like Luka, and Luka does it because he's much bigger. They're very similar, but Luka's size is incredible compared to Harden. And so when he gets to the cup, it doesn't mean he's going to shoot the layup. He might kick it to an open 3. When Harden got to the layup, he went and shot.
Yeah, that's a good point. It was a shot or a floater, but he wasn't kicking out to 3-point shooters like Luka.
Luka will kick back to the top, to the corner.
He has that innate passing ability.
I don't think they can win this year without vertical spacing, can they?
Well, the Mark Williams-Knicks trade may have done them in.
Yeah,
because first of all, I had questions about him anyways, Coach. I was looking at his rim protection. It's not good for a guy that big.
He's not good on defense, but on offense, he'll give you a problem.
No, yeah, he'd be catching lobs and he'd be feasting all day at the rim. But on the other end, I mean, the point is you have to get a rim runner and a rim protector for Luka Doncic and LeBron. And I didn't think he was the rim protector, but he's better than Jackson Hayes, or if they go out and get Dwight Howard now, who are they going to get?
You know what's interesting is we talk about Dallas not liking Luka, but we talk about the Lakers who bypassed everybody to get him. They didn't give a shit. They didn't care what LeBron thought, what Clutch thought. They said, nah, we'll take him.
Oh, yeah. The Lakers pride themselves on being the just get us the stars, we'll figure it out franchise.
I've been watching that since I was 10 years old. It's the truth.
I thought I was fed up.
I've seen it since I was 10.
I mean, I thought because of the new CBA coach, I thought, okay, they put the clamps on the Lakers. Now, they did it for the Warriors and the Clippers and guys going over the luxury tax, but it also makes things so much more difficult to make trades like this. And nobody gives away a guy that's a top 5 player, probably top 3 at least with Luka. That's 25. They make it so you can have a guy, if you draft a guy and he's good, you can keep him for 7 years now because of restricted free agency.
Well, no, wait a minute. They trade him for a guy who's always hurt, who was hurt and is now hurt.
Does conspiracy theory cross your mind at all with this because it's happening to the Lakers again? I don't buy it just because I don't think Nico Harrison.
Well, I don't think people really understand the Chris Paul conspiracy theory. Right. I don't think they don't understand. The team was being sold. There was a lot of moving parts going there that they couldn't do. So that thing's a little more complicated than just saying kill the deal.
No, the NBA had control of that organization, and they didn't like the trade. And even the Pau Gasol one, I look back on that now. They got Marc Gasol. They got 2 first-round picks. They got a big expiring contract in Kwame Brown. I don't think that was Jerry West getting involved, who had bad blood with Lakers ownership at the time and wasn't even the GM of the Memphis Grizzlies. He had just resigned there. So I don't think that was based upon conspiracy or the NBA trying to direct stars to the Lakers.
I mean, even on the Kareem trade, the Lakers gave up a lot. They gave up a lot. Now, I don't really remember the Shaq trade. I don't really remember what they gave up for him or how they got it. The Kobe
I want to say Orlando effed that up because Shaq just became a free agent.
I don't even remember who was involved in that trade.
I feel like Shaq just became a free agent. They didn't hold on to him. They didn't retain him or something.
Is that what it was? Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's why I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't want to remember.
The Kobe thing was just Jerry West being smarter than everybody else.
Yeah. He had him
cooking
Michael Cooper in a workout.
Well, he watched 10 minutes of a workout. He said, shut it down.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody to see this. He told Kobe, don't even pick up a basketball until I talk to you again.
So on the court, Luka next to LeBron, what type of problems are they going to pose offensively to oppositions?
Here's what JJ's going to do. But I don't know. Here's what he was going to do if he had a big. I don't know how he's quite going to do it without a big. But if he has somebody playing the 5, he's going to play 4 out. They're going to look at Luka's matchup. They're going to look at LeBron's matchup. And whoever's the softest pillow, that's the one they're going to attack. They're going to drag him in pick and rolls all day. They're going to play bully ball. And they hope that they can make some corner threes from Rich and who else they got on the threes, shoot threes. The other problem is going to be is Reeves as a third option now catching space off a double. He's going to destroy teams on the cross court pass on the double off the double. He's going to hurt teams because who are you going to have guard Reeves now? The Warriors used to put Wiggins on Reeves recently.
Yeah.
He's going to catch the third or fourth defender. He is going to cook them.
Oh, and he's coming off his career high the other night, where I think they've won something like 10 of their last 13 games now, and they've won 5 in a row.
They have. I heard that this morning.
They're coming in hot. Like, they're not just getting Luka. They're playing well.
Who's their matchup problem in the playoffs?
Who, the Lakers?
Yeah.
Oh, Denver.
Denver's one. Who's another one?
I mean, without a big, Memphis could be a problem for them.
Can the Lakers guard OKC on the dribble kick? They can zone them.
No. And OKC has the defensive switchability to match up pretty well with them. OKC's a cut above to me, Coach. They're a cut above everybody else.
I agree. I think it's the West is theirs to lose.
Yeah.
I like your pickups. I know you're not as high on some of your pickups that I am. I like your pickups. I'll explain to you why you should like Simmons when we get to your Clippers.
All right. So how high do you think this Lakers team can rise in the West without a big? I'll say this for Jackson Hayes. He can go up and get it. He can roll. He can get there. Like on the offensive end, he could do some stuff with Luka. He's not going to be Derek Lively, but he can do some stuff.
Can they get to 4?
They're right there now. Like,
how many games they back?
Let me see here. I think they're like a game back of 3. Let me see.
Are they not? Are you serious?
Oh, because of this winning streak. Okay, they're 5. They're a half game back of 4. They're a game and a half back of 3 with Denver. 4 is Houston. I mean,
they are going to be a problem. They are going to be a problem. They just got to stay away from Jokic.
Yeah. You don't want to get in the 4-5 with Denver in that matchup. Because Jokic, they got nobody right now. And somebody just picked up Bismack Biyombo right before the Lakers trade was nixed. And I was thinking, oh, that's bad timing.
Who did that?
Who got Biyombo?
I missed that.
Oh, it flew under the radar because I think it happened. Oh, he's San Antonio.
No, San Antonio might be a problem.
Yeah, they got to get in still, but they could be a problem.
The West from 11 to 7 is a problem.
Well, it's a lot of teams around the same range of talent-wise.
I think Sacramento's going to fall out. Phoenix might fall out too.
Because to get Warriors and Spurs in to the play-in, 2 teams would have to fall out. I could see the Kings and Suns both being those teams. I could see that.
That's the 2 teams that have to fall out for the Warriors to get involved.
Well, the problem for Sacramento was I think the Luka trade affected them. It set the market lower, and they got even less for De'Aaron Fox, who only wanted to go to one team, and Clutch worked it like they always do. And so they didn't even get any players from San Antonio. The player they got was from Chicago and Zach LaVine, who doesn't play any defense and doesn't really help you overall.
Let me ask you a question. Who's a better fit for the Warriors? Keep Wiggins and LaVine or not? And lose Wiggins and Butler?
Wiggins and LaVine, because they were talking about Zach LaVine? I'd probably take Wiggins and LaVine, honestly. Because I think Wiggins he's had a good year.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. We may have a conversation in June that Miami and Golden State both won the trade.
I can see that.
Wiggins might help Miami a lot.
Yeah. No, I like the move for them. And, it's probably addition by subtraction, just losing Jimmy Butler in that move. But you mentioned San Antonio a second ago. They keep Castle. They keep Vassell. They keep Johnson. And they keep a ton of better first-round picks than the ones they had to give up to Sacramento. Coach, they're about to have a time frame and a window, just like OKC, where they can win a championship in.
I'm going to tell you right now on your show, the next future dude in the NBA. Castle.
Stephon Castle?
He's going to be a dude.
Yeah.
He bullies
both ends.
Yes. He's going to be a two-way dude.
That was the guy to me, that if you're giving up De'Aaron Fox, you have to find a way to get him. But they had no leverage left. And then Luka gets traded for that little, so what are you going to do?
See, my thing with the Warriors, I hear you want Butler. I get that. But why did you have to give up Wiggins? How did that make you better when the grown men show up? See, I'm looking at the last 4 to 6 teams. You got to have grown men. You watch the NBA playoffs. It's about wings. You guys got them. You guys are loaded with them.
Yeah.
And you just picked up another one who won't matter on offense, and I'll explain it to you later.
Let's talk about it now, because I mentioned the Clippers coming in here, and this is Clippers talk. We got Coach Ricky G on. He's an OG, and he talks about uncomfortable truths. You may not like it, but you might want to hear it when it comes to your team. The truth is the truth. And the Clippers, I actually think they did as well as they could this trade deadline. I've been talking about Terrence Mann being traded for weeks because he's just not going to be able to play when their lineup's healthy. So I was shocked.
When I went to your Pacers-Clippers game the other night, you know who the one guy that I kept watching, man, this guy can really play basketball. This guy's very underrated. Zubac.
Oh.
Zubac is underrated. He's underrated. He don't get the love he deserves.
Coach, he is top 5 in rating when it comes to your net rating swing when he's off the floor to on the floor. There's a 12-point swing versus when he's off versus on. He's top 5 in the league in that area. Like he's behind Jokic, SGA, and maybe Sabonis is in there. It's crazy.
I see it. Let me show you on Simmons for your team.
I'm into it.
Simmons don't fit every team, but he fits your team. Let me tell you why. Everybody talks about his offense. You don't have to guard him. He can't shoot, blah, blah, blah. Listen. With the Clippers, you got 2 guys. When it's money time to get buckets, you're going to go to Harden or you're going to go to Kawhi. They're not moving the ball. They're going to create their advantage off a bounce or pick and roll. You got Simmons who can guard the other team's 1 through 4 best player. You got Simmons who could grab a rebound on defense and start a transition break on the dribble. He creates issues for other teams with you guys. He's not going to have the ball in his hands in the last 5 minutes and close it. And if you do put the ball in his hands, somebody's got to guard him, or he'll bend the defense and get 2 feet in the paint, and he can pass. He don't ever. In fact, Simmons don't ever have to take one shot the rest of the year for you guys, and he's a plus for you.
No, I see it. I think if they put him at small ball 5 at times in death lineups, that could be nasty.
Could be very nasty, and he gives you pace. See, the one thing I didn't like about your team the other night when you guys gave up that big lead, you guys lost your pace. Your team is similar to the Warriors. You got to play with pace. See, the Warriors have no pace. That's another thing Butler does to us. We're a slow team. We were outscored 22-1 in transition points in the third quarter the other night.
God damn.
We got no pace.
Yeah.
You guys play with pace. Then you stop playing with pace, and then Indiana ran back up on you.
The Clippers can construct a lineup around Simmons where you have Harden, Kawhi, Norm, and then maybe Bogie now, or Batum, or Amir Coffey, who's shooting 43% from 3.
Yeah. Is that the left-hander, the light skin? Coffee?
Yeah. It's the left-hander. It's the left-hander.
He can shoot.
He's one of the best shooters in the league this season. Well,
I saw it the other night. I like it. By the way, your building is ridiculous. Did I see this right? Because I came from rain and all this shit. I'm mesmerized by all the flash and the bling. Did I see a dispensary in there?
No, I think that was a way to grow some vegetables and fruit indoors.
Okay, I thought that was a dispensary. I was like, no, he didn't do this. If he did this, it's a wrap.
I don't think it was a dispensary. I don't think I don't know if Adam Silver's that progressive yet. We'll see.
I'll tell you what, the 2 things I liked about
you might be right. I don't know.
I think there was one in there.
I don't think no. I would have known about this, Coach.
Adam, when's the next home game?
Wednesday against Memphis.
I want you to go check. I guarantee I saw this big glass.
There's no way we wouldn't have talked about this already. Like, that would be news.
I'm just telling you. I was with Dime. I bet you. I'm going to tweet Dime when I get done. I think Dime told me it was in there.
Well, that's a big place. Maybe there are some corridors I haven't been to yet at Intuit Dome, but I'm just going to go guess that the jokes that would come out, like, oh, Clippers lost tonight, but I don't remember. Like, I mean, the jokes that would happen.
I could be wrong, but I saw a glass building with tumbleweeds. Maybe you guys got tumbleweeds in there.
It's L.A. It's Inglewood. So you enjoyed.
Took me 45 minutes to get a girl in the corner to download the app so I can even get in the building because they got to do all that shit with it. Oh, this shit is crazy.
I'm hoping it's going to get smoother and smoother. I think it will.
But the only building I would take over your building because I'm old school is the Garden.
Yeah, that's fair.
There ain't nothing like the Garden.
Where were your seats? Where were your seats at?
Floor.
I should have seen you. I could have came down there.
No, I think you asked me at the Garden. No. Actually, I was. Here's an interesting story. Haliburton hooked me up with the ticket. So I'm sitting with the Pacers. I don't know if they're girlfriends, hoochie friends, hotel lobby friends, or whoever they are. But I'm sitting with all the players' tickets of the Pacers.
I like Haliburton even more now. I told the Kings you shouldn't have made that trade when it happened.
Well, he took that game over the last 5 minutes. He's been struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. But Haliburton's the most humble, nicest human being you'll ever meet in the NBA.
Really? I mean, I picked that up from Sacramento. I thought he was a good guy.
Haliburton gives me a ticket and tells me he appreciates me coming.
Wow.
I'm like, dude, you just gave me an NBA ticket.
When's his contract up? I need future Clipper on Haliburton.
I don't know. But I'm working. I'm going to get them seats next to him at the Caitlin Clark game this year in a W. That's my last bucket list. I want to see Caitlin from the floor.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And after that, I'm done. I'm going to let all you young guys have it.
Well, what were some of your other impressions of the Clippers in that game you saw versus the Pacers outside them blowing a 22-point lead?
Same thing. You got wings everywhere. You got couple dudes that get a bucket. You got shooters. You guys got to play with pace. I think you need to go inside with Zubac more.
I agree. Hey, did you see last game? They finally did against Utah. He had like 26 and 18 or something.
That's when you're hard to beat.
Man, Coach, I scream about this all the time. I pull hair out talking about there is an easier path to victory, and it's playing through Ivica Zubac. He's a cheat code at times.
No, he is. If I saw James Harden at Starbucks, I said, James, what are we doing here? You see that big white boy? Go to him. He'll kick it back.
Hey,
he's good.
I've called him the long-lost Gasol brother. He is skilled, Coach. He's got a left-handed hook, a right-handed hook. He's got it all.
He's a solid basketball player. And the Lakers gave you Zubac just to get rid of Beasley out of their locker room. Think about that for a minute. You got Zubac because the Lakers want Beasley out of the locker room.
Coach, they probably win 2 more championships outside the bubble if they just didn't trade Ivica Zubac. They probably do. Him next to Anthony Davis would have been perfect for them. All right.
Yeah.
You mentioned Ben Simmons. I think they can play him small. I don't know if they can play him next to Zoo. I don't know if they can play him next to Drew Eubanks. But as a 5, I see the vision with him. And they've had a ton of issues with turnovers. At that game you were at, they had one point turned it over 6 possessions in a row, Coach, at the end of the second quarter. Like, it was ugly, and it's been a trend.
Well, let's go back a minute. Who's guarding the point guards in the West on your team if Simmons isn't?
Well, in the starting lineup, we got DJ.
No,
DJ
I'm talking closing. I'm talking closing.
Closing?
Yeah. I don't care about who starts. You can start you. I don't care. I'm talking about closing.
James, Kawhi. Here's the thing. The closing lineup could be the starting lineup depending on the night and depending on the matchup.
Who's guarding the point guard? Who's guarding SGA on that team?
Oh, so that would be Derrick Jones Jr. He guarded him for Dallas in that second round series last year.
Okay, I forgot about him. You're right. You got one. He can do it. He can guard those. He can guard.
What about Chris Dunn? What about Chris Dunn?
Yeah, but now you're back now. Okay, but now you're back to the Simmons situation. You don't have to guard Dunn either.
This is fair right now, Coach. He's 2 for his last 23 from 3.
Yeah,
it's been brutal.
I would rather see if I got to have a player on the floor that I don't have to guard, or they don't have to guard. I'm going with Simmons over Dunn because Simmons gives me more. See, Dunn can't take the ball off the glass and go transition. See, one thing Simmons does that nobody understands, he can get a rebound and start the transition.
Yeah.
And finish it.
Well, and one of the things they've been doing this year, point of emphasis, is those hit-ahead passes where you get it and it's a long outlet from James Harden over the top of the defense to Derrick Jones Jr. down the floor for an easy one. Like they've been really good. They're second in the league in points off of turnovers. They get about 20 points per game just off of turnovers. It is necessary for them. And that's quick buckets.
Do you remember the 77 the 77 Sixers?
No, Coach.
You got a guy on your team just like them. And I'm going to bring him up. You want him in the All-Star game, but this guy's going to have you drinking in the playoffs. He's either going to shoot you in and beat teams or he's going to shoot you out. That would be World B. Free in 1977, and that would be Norman Powell in 2024. Norman Powell can shoot you out as much as he can shoot you in.
Thing is, though, look, Norm's efficiency, Coach, is
I understand, but I'm talking about I understand, but I'm talking about when the light gets brighter and the heat gets on.
This is fair, but he's been pretty good. He had
wait a minute. That's a big but because when he makes shots, you guys are hard to beat.
Oh yeah. Norman Powell is
but that was World B. Free. If World B. Free made shots and the doctor on the floor with him, you couldn't beat him. But he also shot him out games.
It could happen, but he's at least unselfish enough, I think, to know I got Kawhi, I got James. There are others who can get it done. And if he's not shooting well, I think Coach Lue will pull him because he doesn't provide much else outside of his shooting, Norman Powell, outside of his scoring. You know, he can't create for himself like other guys on the team. He's more of a play finisher. But it's the second straight year he's shooting 44% from 3. He could easily be an all-star. He's going to be in the three-point contest. And I have seen him go for 40 in a playoff game a couple of years ago when Kawhi got hurt against Phoenix.
He's capable. You know what people don't see about James Harden that TV don't show you when you watch him in person? Is his paint defense.
Post defense? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I remember Remember that first All-Star game? It was post Kobe Bryant's untimely death, unfortunately, and they made the All-Star trophy the Kobe Bryant Award, and they changed the rules to the Elam rules, where there was a set number at the end of the game you had to get to win. That game was actually a good All-Star game, that first one in 2020. And at the end of that game, I believe James Harden was guarding Giannis Antetokounmpo in the post, and Giannis couldn't do anything with him. And everybody was like, what the hell is this?
No, when you go watch the Clippers in person, I call it paint defense. His paint defense is good, and he's strong. He's got strong hands.
What do you think of their other pickup in Bogdanovich, Bogie?
You got to guard him. I mean, he's going to make buckets.
They need that.
Now you put Zubac in the low block or pick and roll. Harden comes off the left side, left hand. You got your new pickup sitting in the right corner.
He's slippery. Like,
well, he's a good basketball player. He's more than a shooter.
Yeah, like he can score at 3 levels. He steps up in big games.
He can put the ball on the floor and beat you.
If he wasn't having such a bad year shooting wise, and it's only been 24 games for him, he's been banged up too. They couldn't have got him. The only reason they could get him is because he's having an off year so far.
Well, that and the Hawks I think they're rebuilding, aren't they?
Let me know when they trade Trey, because I don't
eventually that seems. But really, dude, I mean, here we go again with these small guards. I don't care how good you are, you can't win with those guys.
I know how you feel about Trey.
Was you on Twitter when his dad and I had that conversation?
Oh, probably.
That was the greatest thread of all time. That was a great conversation. But even look at Brunson. The Celtics show Brunson, you guys aren't going to win with the little guard out here when we want to show up. You can't, when it gets to the grown man, little guards become a problem. They struggle. You know what team we haven't talked about tonight that I think is dangerous?
What?
But they don't have a score to get buckets when it matters. Houston.
Oh, I agree with you. Hey, I don't mind seeing Houston in a first-round matchup. I don't. I'm okay with that. Out of all the teams at the top of the West, I'd be more comfortable with Houston.
But here's the problem playing Houston. You'll beat them in close games, but they might boat race you a few games too.
That's fair.
You'll beat them in a 3-point game, but you might catch a 20-point loss too.
My guy Law Murray of The Athletic says it's official. The Clippers have signed Ben Simmons, so he cleared waivers. He is signing with the Clippers. It's happening. Just wanted to throw that out there. Something else we've talked about over the years, Coach, is Kawhi Leonard and watching how he's moving. Now, last year we were doing this, and some people were saying he was washed the first month and a half of the season, and then he went on a historic stretch where he legitimately played his best offensive brand of basketball in the regular season in his entire career. Coach, for 30 games, he set the all-time efficiency record for 30 games straight, shooting 57, 52, 92 shooting splits for 30 games. It was insane. This year so far, I got him on Kawhi watch right now. He's only 13 games in, but you saw the game against Indiana. He wasn't looking for a shot as much. He did have 11 points in the fourth, but he looked gassed to me. How do you look to you out there?
Well, first of all, the first thing I know about Kawhi is he dropped a lot of weight, or is that me? He looked very lean.
You're right. You're right.
He lost muscle mass, too. I mean, he didn't look as big. You look at his arms, he looked lean to me. I'm not saying he lost his muscle, but he looked like he's on some kind of diet because he looked very lean to me. I thought he moved pretty good. Does he have his explosion he used to have? No. But is he still moving good? I think so. I wouldn't worry about Kawhi. Kawhi's fine.
My only concern is, they go as far as Kawhi can take them. The idea of this season is just get to the playoffs with a healthy Kawhi for once. That's it.
See, I'm gonna push back. You go as far as Zubac takes you.
Well, I wouldn't hate that. Hey, if they actually feature Reese Zubac more.
He's your cheat code. He's like Gordon is on Denver. He's their cheat code.
I do think this is the guy that can elevate your ceiling because he's always been a top 5 rim protector, Coach.
He's a good player. He's a solid basketball player. How the Lakers let him go just to get a player out of the locker room is beyond belief to me.
Well, ask Magic. I mean, come on.
I mean, there had to be something to that story. There had to be some finances involved. Wasn't he going to be a free agent or something?
Well, he did say on a podcast with Paul George within the last 6 months, I think it was sometime last year, he came on with Podcast P and said he had some attitude issues back then because he wanted to play more and he knew he was good and they weren't using him. And there was a point where I think he was a Mitch Kupchak draft pick. There was a point where Mitch had to tell his agent, hey, tell this guy to shut up or we're trading him.
That makes sense. I can see that.
But they got Mike Muscala. They got nothing for him.
Well, they didn't know. They didn't trade him to get anybody. They wanted Beasley out of that locker room because Beasley hated Walton.
Yeah, but you can't do that. It was apparent at that time, though, that Zubac had a high ceiling. Everybody else kind of knew it.
I didn't think he'd be this good, but I thought he'd be good. But I think, did you see this good coming?
I've been a pretty big fan. I can find some tweets from 2021 where I say, this guy's the long-lost Gasol brother. I've been high on Zoo.
No, I remember I had a tweet where I would take him over AD when AD was hurt all the time, and I got cooked. We're going way back. So I loved him a little bit, too.
Well, that last game against Anthony Davis, he had 20 and 20 on him just like a month ago.
I watched him outplay AD at any time.
I think that's a dirty little secret. Like Ivica Zubac has been part of the reason the Clippers won 11 straight at one point against the Lakers. When Coach Lue came to the Clippers, they won their first 11 games against the Lakers.
I thought it was like 30.
Well, it's 38 and 11 the last 49 games, going back to 2012. They're 38 and 11 against the Lakers. So it's been domination. But part of the reason is Ivica Zubac has more than held his own against Anthony Davis. He hasn't gotten loose many times.
No, he has. And I tweeted that one night, and I got fried. I get fried every day. I mean,
I see you testing the waters with some of these hot takes, though, just to get a conversation started sometimes, Coach.
Hey, that's what I do. Basketball engagement. I can do that.
Okay, so I had Dime on this summer right before the season started. And something I asked him was, what are your basketball convictions? I want to ask you the same question. Same question is, what's your basketball convictions? What are the non-negotiables when you're building a team?
Small guards will set you up for failure when the grown men show up.
Has that always been that way in the NBA?
It's always been that way in my life.
What about Isaiah?
He's 1% of the 1%.
Okay.
You must stay in front of the ball. You can't stay in front of the ball, I can't use you. And rebounding defense will win all the time. Offense sells tickets, rebounding wins games. Or offense sells tickets, defense wins games, rebounding wins chips. That will never change as long as I'm alive.
What team or organization illustrates your convictions best over the years? Who really applies them?
I would say that's a good question. But let me answer it this way. Who in the last 30 years has won with a small guard as a one?
It ain't CP3.
It's only one, Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, that's more than 30 now. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to do the reverse history on it. But if we talk about today's game in the playoffs that you and I watch, the NBA playoffs is about wings now.
And why is that?
The 3-point line and the spacing, you have to have length to cover the spacing. Otherwise, you can't cover them. See, who's your point of attack defender? Your best one?
I mean, I like Derrick Jones Jr.
Okay, Derrick Jones Jr. could get on a closeout to a guard with his length, where if CP3 was in the same spot, he can't get to him. See, it's the closeout speed from the east and the west that's the problem. And if you don't have that in the NBA, you can't get to the three-ball shooter.
I want to say something a little bit inflammatory, but part of the reason I think it's a wing-driven game is because basketball has merged with size and skill. Like, everybody is so skilled with shooting. Tell me if you agree with this. Your flaws get exposed now more than ever in the NBA. If you have a flaw, they will go after it and pick at it more now than ever. And that's why there's less players out there with them.
There's 3 seasons in an NBA. Regular season, playoffs, last 4 teams standing. That's 3 different seasons. That's 3 different games. When we get to the last 4 teams standing, everything before means nothing. The grown man will hunt your flaw in your soft spot. They don't care about your XO schemes and offense at that point. We're just going to play pick and roll switch, or we're going to play some kind of movement and hunt somebody. See, that's the problem.
Do you think the NBA leans into that even more, though, now? There's more guys, because I see a lot more guys who can handle the ball at bigger sizes, a lot more guys who can shoot at bigger sizes. Like, the 2s used to be the premier position, right? Now it's the 3s.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say I took Kareem and reinvented him to play in today's game, and I took Hakeem Olajuwon and reinvented him in today's game. What would happen?
They'd still be all-timers.
And why would they be all-timers?
They're that skilled, I believe.
Because both of them put brakes on a game and take away your transition and make you beat the set defense every possession, and you have to double them. See, people think by putting Kareem on the floor, you're going to have the same basketball, 3 balls, transition, blah, blah. No. He puts the brakes on the goddamn game. You got to double him, and everything's coming out of the net, or you foul him. Now you're playing against a set defense every possession. You don't get your transition walk-up threes.
Yeah. No,
he changes the pace. He changes the dynamics. So my question is, where does Jokic fit in this? Because he does it similar, but he does it outside. Jokic becomes a playmaker at the elbow. But Jokic's skill is his screen setting, is everybody dies on it. That's his greatest gift in basketball. It's not passing, not shooting. It's when he sets the screen. You die.
That's interesting.
And then once you die, he now gets the ball and becomes the best passer in the world. On a defense, he's already broke.
I mean, I do think, look, as much as I think the modern game has more skilled guys than ever.
Well, they're better shot makers.
But I would say that particular skill is more important. All skills aren't created equal to me. To me, the tough shot making has gone way up. And that is more important than, just, okay, well, there were better rebounders back then, or better this.
I was a pretty good shooter in my day, and I shot on the hard rim. But when I watch Harden and Steph do that step back 3 or that side step back 3, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how those guys do that. That's a tough. See, when you shoot, you want your shoulder square. I don't care where you start. Once you get to your release point, you want the shoulder square. They're going back away from the rim and sometimes to the side of the rim. Shoulders are not square. And they make that shot so effortless. I was never going to do that in my day. Never.
That's the skill to me that stands out the most in today's game. People talk about, oh, there's no defense being played. I disagree with that. I think it's just way harder to play defense now.
Well, no, it is. But that step back that Harden created space against a good defender. People talk about this player, that player changed the game. James Harden don't get credit for that step back. James Harden changed the game too.
He's brought this up over the past year in the locker room where he got a little bit defensive about it. Like, hey, nobody's talking about me.
No, tell him I do. Because he's right. Because with his length, and then he's got his ball above his shoulder on his shot, and his length, and then he steps back, he eliminates the defender. He eliminates guys like Wiggins.
Well, Coach, I think he has been fouled. I know for a fact he's been fouled over 30 times on three-pointers so far this season. Almost every game. Like 80% of the games.
If I could watch a film session with some of these players, I would show them how you got to guard that. They go, when he gets up to here, they go to the ball. No, you got to go to the back of his head. See, when the ball's here at the hand, they're coming here. No, come around to the side on the back of the head because he'll bring it to you.
I feel like Shane Battier used to try stuff like that against Kobe back in the day.
But it's what you have to do. The best way to defend Harden on his three ball, don't go to the shot. Go to the back of his head.
It seems like he's able to I don't know. Just lull them to sleep or make it so enticing that they can't help themselves.
I was impressed with him when I saw him in person. I thought he lost some weight. I thought he looked good.
Oh, no, he's lost some weight from last year to this year.
Yeah, he looked good.
No, this is about – he said it's as thin as he's been in 5 or 7 years before the season started. And
when he was in college, I would have called him a connector. He wasn't that dude. He was a connector in college.
To your point of he doesn't get enough credit for revolutionizing the game,
No,
he
he
changed
doesn't.
his own game.
No, he changed the game. Steph changed the game from the deep three ball and eliminating the post player. Harden changed the game from separation on the on-ball defender.
And also getting you on his back in the pick and roll and just either go into the floater or go into the lob. Which one's it going to be every time to Clint Capella and now Ivica Zubac? Yeah, he's devastating.
I thought Harden played the Super Warriors tougher than anybody.
I mean, they took him to 7, and it took 27 straight missed three-pointers for them to lose that game 7 without CP3.
Well, he was shot. They all were shot.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the problem playing on ball that Luka and Harden are going to run into deep in playoffs. It eats your legs.
You think the Lakers defensively are just going to get fried?
You can hide one guy. Can you hide two?
How about 3 with Austin?
I think Austin's a little better than he gets credit for. But
He's like Steph in that way.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But I think, here's what you're going to see from Luka. And I can't wait to see him tonight. You know what you're going to see from Luka with the Lakers for a while? He's going to play that effort on defense. He took that shit personal. I don't care what anybody tells you. Luka, they got Luka's tension with that killing him. You don't guard. You got a drinking problem. You this, you that. You out of shape. Believe me, he can't be that great and not be that sensitive and pissed off. Because he's going to show me his greatness. He's going to sit on defense. He's going to play defense for a while. Why? He's not going to do that shit he did in Dallas. Because he got hurt. He got his feelings hurt.
I've seen. Well, first of all, everybody is discounting the fact that Luka, he's not just a dude. He's a dog. Like when the ball rolls out, he's one of the top competitors I've seen in the modern NBA.
Well, look what he did to your team when he was real young. He made Kawhi and Paul George look average some night.
Don't get me started.
I mean, he did. There was times Kawhi wasn't even there. He just made him a ghost.
3 years ago, I was saying, I've seen enough. He's one of the greatest players in NBA history. And he was, at that time, 22. And I was already saying he's one of the greatest players I've ever seen. I know
he's one of the few dudes I haven't seen in person yet. I got to see how big he is.
He's big, Coach. He's one of those guys that looks bigger in person.
He has to be. Because the first time I saw Bird in person, I was just knocked off my feet. He was big, too. It's not that they're big, they're wide. Bird was wide shoulders. He had shoulders real wide. He was just a big dude. And I think Luka's like that.
Before we get out of here, Coach, I want to do a blind type taste test here. Player test. I'm going to give you the stats of 2 players, player A, player B. You tell me which one should take the spot of Anthony Davis in the All-Star game. Player A. He's getting 24 a game. He's shooting 48% from the field. He's shooting 41% from 3. He's getting 5 boards, 5 assists. Player B, also getting 24 points a game. Shooting a little bit better, 49%, make it 50% from the field. 43%, so 2% better from 3. He's getting, though, 3 boards, 2 assists per game.
Player B is Powell, player A is Sabonis.
Player A is Kyrie. And Kyrie's getting in with Anthony Davis being out.
So player B was Powell?
It was. Nice job by you. I'm a little bit annoyed by this. Just because Norman Powell, like, he's never going to get another chance to be an all-star probably. There's everything lined up right for him this year with Kawhi being out for so long.
But let's just be honest. This was about name power.
But that's what annoys me.
Yeah.
Now, I heard Adam Silver chooses based upon who was next in the coaching poll or the coaches' votes. So they may have just all voted Kyrie as the next guy, and that's what Adam Silver.
Well, then why didn't they pick LaMelo over Trae Young?
LaMelo got in?
No, Trae Young did. For Giannis.
Then they had Trae was next up in the coach's vote. It wasn't LaMelo.
But LaMelo wasn't he the top vote getter? LaMelo has to be at the All-Star game because that's who he is. He's entertainment. He's not going to ever win anything in the NBA.
You called him Pistol Pete Maravich, right?
Just like Maravich. Entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, I can still, to this day, I was about 18 when I heard his dribble. If Pete Maravich stood right behind me right now and dribbled on the NBA floor, I could tell you without turning around it was his dribble. I never heard a sound or noise from ball to floor to back to hand ever like Pistol Pete Maravich. It was just different.
You really think he didn't win because I think he did. Did he win on the bench with Boston one year? But
no, he didn't finish. But let me tell you about Maravich. See, my mentor was Pete Maravich, starting backcourt mate. We could do another hour of a pod. I could tell you Pete Maravich's story. It wasn't about him winning. He was in the NBA to save the league, entertainment. He had to get 40, 45 with tricks. And if he did, and he had a bad night, and he was a nervous wreck and throwing up every game before the game. And he wore his shoes 3 sizes too small to make him quicker. I can sit here and tell you stories about Pete Maravich that would take you to the next level on your pod.
All right. We'll do it another time.
I appreciate
you, Coach.
You're the man. At the top of the big building. I saw you with McLean, though.
Oh, yeah. Don was on the call for that game against the Pacers.
Don's very underrated on the mic. He should get bigger games.
Don's great.
I don't know if anybody knows basketball better than Don McLean. You might know as much, but not better.
He's the first guy that I heard popularize margin of error. He's the first guy I ever heard talk about that, and now everybody uses it all the time.
But he was a bucket getter. God, he was a bucket. That white boy was tough. I mean, he could get buckets. And he was a little nasty and salty.
Yes, he was.
He had no problem telling the player, F you. He was salty, boy.
I'm going to try to get him back on here during the All-Star break.
You got to get Don McLean on. Don McLean. And first of all, I think you guys, now I watch all the NBA games. I got them all. You guys have the best TV crew. That's not the Knicks, with Brain, but just standard NBA. You guys got the best, hands down. Jim Jackson and the other guys the best.
Brian Seaman, and then the Czar too.
Czar can't put me to sleep. Jim Jackson.
Come on.
Czar's okay, but Jim Jackson and Brian, they're number one. Calabral's number two. Quinn Buckner's up there. The guy Toronto's pretty good because he sounds like the Godfather. It doesn't like listen to a mafia guy give you a little play-by-play.
Well, don't be afraid to listen to our radio play-by-play guy when we're on the car as well with Carlo Jimenez. He does a hell of a job.
It's funny you say that. I caught him. Where was I? I caught a Clipper game on the radio. He's good.
He's really good.
He's very good.
Just like Noah, he's another young guy.
Noah's going to be a superstar. I mean, he's going to the top. He's going to go past Dad. DNA matters, Adam.
Apparently.
But you see your radio guy? Tell Ricky G. Tell him, now listen. Tell your radio guy, I used to listen to Bill King and Chick Hearn under the pillow on a transistor. Tell this young man he's good.
I will tell him.
He's good. I caught him the other day coming through LA. He's good.
Before we get out of here with Ricky G, I do want to remind you guys, Clippers Talk, as always, is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest way to play fantasy sports, and it's available in over 30 states. All you got to do is pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats or your least favorite player stats, and you can win up to 100 times your money. Make picks, win money. I got a free promo code for you guys. This will give new users a free pick and up to $1,000 in bonus cash. The promo code, of course, is LAC, and you can find it and the referral link in the description down below in this very episode, which starred the OG with Uncomfortable Truths, Ricky G. I appreciate the conversation as always, Coach. We'll keep it going on X for now and look forward to having you back on for some Pete Maravich stories here soon.
Adam, you're the best. Take care, man.
This has been 128 straight days of Clippers Talk. I'm Adam Oslin. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm hunting for a couple of guests to give us more inside information on Bogie Bogdanovic, your newest Clipper, although your real newest Clipper now is Ben Simmons. I'm hunting for some guests who are experts on those two players for tomorrow's show. Clippers back on Wednesday taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. Love y'all. Subscribe, like, and before we get out of here, this time I'm going to get this right. I'm not going to mess this up. We have our new outro for each and every Clippers Talk show, and it goes like...
Off the air.
Wait. I got to plug back in.
Off the air. Off the air.